And we're live as Whiskey Watches the Wheels, and I am the phenomenal Matt Green, here with a couple of the boys. Gentlemen, introduce yourselves.
I am still Casey.
I'm always James.
And Kevin is doing family things tonight.
Kevin's doing Kevin things.
Yes, rightfully so. He should. Family comes first. We've always said that. This podcast is for fun. It's not for finances.
Yeah, because there are no finances. That's
no finances, right? No one's paying us for this fucking shit.
Out, never coming in.
We're paid with love from the people that listen. You know,
206.
Hey, but 2.6. I mean, listen, that's 5 more than it was last week, or 4 more. So hey, it slowly but surely. Let's do a wristwatch check. Who's wearing what tonight?
I'm boring, so I'll go first. I've still been out in the woods, still hunting. So I'm still wearing 007 because this is, like I said last week, the youngest loom that I own, and it works great. And when the sun is coming up and you're trying to see if you're legal to shoot, it works. End of the day, am I still legal to shoot? It's still going, so I enjoy it.
Young loom, not like an old, worn out, saggy titty loom. So
we talked about that.
Yeah.
I'll go next. I traveled this week, so I typically will use my Russian Ricotta Big Zero.
Nice.
I've shown this a number of times on the podcast before, but it is essentially the perfect travel watch. You can't miss those numbers, and it's just so easy. And if it were lost, it would cost me $100. So all good.
Mm-hmm.
All good.
And I am wearing tonight my Speedmaster. So
nice.
There.
That was the wedding anniversary one?
Yes, this was the 25-year wedding anniversary Speedmaster. Just
nice band on there.
I like this band. These bands are so comfortable, man. Comes from a company called Suit Straps out of the UK. And it takes forever to get them in, but they are really, really comfortable. And nice and comfy. This is just a regular Speedmaster Professional Moonwatch.
There you go.
Is that kind of a Pepita pattern on that?
It is. It's a Pepita pattern, cream black with a little bit of red accenting. So
nice.
And then I have a couple houndstooth ones as well on some of my Seikos.
So I didn't say this earlier because I figured you all don't care, but I'll say it on here because I care. I said I was wearing this watch while out hunting, and Monday night I got myself a nice 8-point buck.
You did. I was going to ask you about that. I had it on my list of things.
Yep. Yes. Got that about 4:00 in the afternoon. Super excited. It was odd because it had an antler that looked like it was growing down into its face. I thought it was a defect, like he had a retarded horn. That was for you, James. But come to find out, it looks like he broke it sparring or rubbing or something. Because I went to drag him out of this brush pile that he fell down into, and I grabbed that antler, and it was very loose. So I grabbed the other one, pulled him out, and then that one just kind of rotated out. So that couldn't have felt good when it happened because that's obviously in the skull.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But the dogs are really enjoying chewing on it now. So
there you go. Well, I was going to ask you if you ended up getting that deer off the back of the small short bus. Yeah.
That's exactly where you belong. It was really fun. It was the first one that I've harvested off my own land, so I'm very excited about that. Kind of proud of that. Been working him, feeding them during the summer and trying to get them to kind of make a home base. Which is hard to do because I've just got 40 acres and there's a whole bunch of wild place out there, and deer certainly don't know land border lines or property lines. So excited to get him. Hopefully I'll get a couple more over the next couple of weeks before I go on vacation, and then it's open all through December. So excited.
Well, we'll get some frozen gifts from Casey this
exactly. So
right.
I'm curious. Where do you dress that deer? Did you dress it on your property, or did you take it home to dress it, or did you take it to
do it right there?
Right there, a field dress.
Right
okay,
there. Yeah.
Because for those listening, Casey drives a Cayenne, so I could just see you driving down the road with a deer head hanging out the back of the Cayenne, going down the highway or something, or stuff to the hood.
I put a basket in the trailer hitch basket. So field dress it, which obviously just means pulling out all the internal organs.
Mm-hmm.
Strapped it down, and then took it to the processor. So
there you go. There's nothing more Virginian than seeing a deer on the back of a rack on a Porsche Cayenne driving down the
Yeah.
highway, going to
Yeah.
the dresser to get it,
yeah, I'm
cut up.
I'm sure it was a look, but
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun, and it's got several more still coming up on the trail cam, so hopefully they'll keep moving around.
So you got him on your trail cam, right?
Yes. Yeah, the night before. Yeah.
Okay.
So he was hanging around. He must have bed down somewhere close by. But so he came in and he was pushing a doe. Doe came in first into my kind of like clearing where I have my blind, and she hung out for a couple minutes, and then he came in, and he was, honest to God, he was probably no further than 15 yards away from me. That's how close he was. So
Wow.
easy shot. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
And it only took 4 shots from that range.
Well, it's single shot season right now, so
there you go. Casey, what are you drinking? Because James and I aren't drinking anything.
So tonight we have some Whistle Pig home stock. This is obviously Canadian rye whiskey. This one is 45 rye, 30 wheat, 25 barley. It's a really good. This is one of their shelf offerings, but I think it's a really good rye. Easy to drink. The ABV is not crazy. It's only like 90 proof or something, 86 proof. So it's easy to drink. Got it in old fashioned. Yes, yeah. Got it in old fashioned is my typical. But it's a good, easy drinking whiskey. Yeah.
In your FSI Rally Cup.
That's right. Always, right?
Yeah, always. Yeah.
Speaking of rye, so I was in Chicago. Paul and I were in Chicago yesterday. And before this concert, we went out and we're staying at this pretty cool hotel, and we had a nice beverage there, Manhattan straight up, right? So I'm like, make sure I don't get rye.
Yeah.
So after that, we had a deep dish pizza, and I ordered.
You mean casserole?
It looked amazing in the fucking photo. I'm like, oh my God, that looks delicious.
Yeah, so I ordered another round, and Paula ordered the rye, and I did not. And I think we both got rye, and it was like a punch in the face. So I was telling Matt earlier that, I go to this concert, and it's kind of a bucket list show for me, even though nobody knows who the band is. But
that don't matter.
All I was doing was sneezing and blowing my nose during the show, which was kind of sucked.
Yeah.
So I was a little uncomfortable. But I that's why I'm not drinking anything tonight. I don't need a repeat.
So how was Tortoise? It was everything you thought it would be and more.
And more.
Yeah. Okay. So
the venue was beautiful. So
yeah.
True.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Venue was killer. It was at Auditorium Theater in downtown Chicago. Kind of a classic vintage theater. Tortoise is kind of a progressive rock, jazz band, instrumental. It was a record release concert. So their album was released yesterday, and they were backed up with the Chicago Philharmonic. So it was quite interesting.
Cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So the band is kind of very fluid, right? Where for one song, somebody's playing the drums, and then on the next song, that person will move over and play a different instrument, right? So it's kind of
it's not song related. It's more just like what they're feeling that night.
No, it's song related for sure. Okay. But they had 2 drum kits set up. They had multiple drummers. Like the bass player would switch; he'd play guitar, and then the guitar player would switch to bass or a different instrument.
That's cool.
Multiple people playing vibes, and then backed up by Chicago Philharmonic. So it was pretty cool, and the crowd was pretty into it and rowdy because they were a Chicago band. So it was a home-based show. Talked to a couple people around us. One of the guys behind me was like, yeah, I've seen them 9 times. So it's definitely in Chicago. It's kind of a super group of Chicago musicians from different bands that come together, and this was their first album since 2016, so it was kind of a big deal. And they don't tour a lot, so for me to go to Chicago and do this thing, it was pretty cool. Paula enjoyed it. I don't know if it would be her first choice, but she was a great sport. And yeah, so it was cool to do it.
Yeah, I can go to things like that and appreciate it for what it is, even if it's something that I don't know a lot about.
Yeah, years ago, used to have season tickets for the Charlotte Symphony. And I'm not a big classic music fan, but I just appreciate music. So I was always look forward to just live music in itself. I can go watch a country music musician, even though I don't like country music, but there's somebody with talent playing live, which always amazes me.
Mm-hmm.
And what really amazes me is all these people that just do it as a side gig for their own satisfaction, and there are amazing talents. It's crazy. So
hey, I've been listening to a ton, and I know you guys don't this, a ton of bluegrass lately. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I am raised a Florida cracker, and that's my grandparents listen to a ton of bluegrass. And there's this new, they're not a new band, they've been out for a while, but the Creekers, and they have this song called Tennessee, and I love it. And I'm thinking, and it just brought me back to the bluegrass roots. So Spotify's been a bluegrass playlist lately. So,
well, I went to see the Punch Brothers earlier at a Charlotte Theater here. Carolina Theater just opened up, and that was one of their first shows was Punch Brothers. So, and of course, my daughter has been playing banjo since we went to Nashville and grabbed her one.
It's freaking awesome,
and that's what she does now. So
that's great, man.
Being exposed.
She's not a redneck though.
No, but she was born in Charlotte, so she's a lot more southern than I am.
More southern than I am. I mean, Florida's not really
Charlotte.
That's not the South.
Charlotte's a big city. I don't know. We're gonna have this. Will be a discussion, ongoing discussion.
Yeah.
Because Charlotte is not a southern. It's a southern city, but it's not southern, right?
Yeah, but what's really interesting is it is a big city, but guess what? In 8 minutes, you can be outside of the city and be
that's
pretty
key,
rural.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
which is actually why it's pretty great,
it's
right?
Great.
And similar, Richmond, it's a little harder. Where I am in Richmond,
get to the beach.
You get an hour and a half to the beach, right?
Yeah.
But you're an hour and a half from DC, but to get like rural, you need to go. It's not 30 minutes like Charlotte, or you got to go an hour and a half, right? Where my property is, an hour gets you to Charlottesville, and then 30 minutes outside of Charlottesville, you're in Podunk. But you have to almost work a little harder to get out.
See, being from Central Florida, this is not the South. Even though I was raised Southern, because my grandparents were from Carolina or from Alabama, but at the end of the day, we're really like North Cuba proper. I mean, you get north up to Jacksonville, and that's kind of like North
industrial.
Cuba with
that's
hot
industrial,
sauce, but I mean it's.
But then you go to Savannah, and that's pure Southern, right?
100%. 100%.
That's where people definitely speak slower.
Yeah, and if you go over to northwest Central Florida, like Ocala area and all that, that's Gainesville. That's country. I mean, that's straight up equestrian and horse country, and that's they're the South.
Yeah. Well, just growing up in the New York tri-state area,
that is not South.
Once you hit Virginia, that's all South.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So, but Charlotte 30 years ago was not a big city. It was kind of a larger town.
And the airport shows. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The airport tells that story, right?
Well,
I love that airport.
Oh, gosh.
But that airport is the smallest fucking airport for a city of that size.
Yes,
probably
it is.
in the world.
And it's one of the busiest top 5 in the world, right?
Yeah, because it's what is it now?
American Airlines hub, which it's fantastic for us. I can go almost anywhere direct flight, which is great. But when I moved here 30 years ago, and we were amazed. So I would be used to going to New York, JFK, LaGuardia, right? And they're just hassles. And to get in your car and in 20 minutes you're at the airport and parked, it was pretty amazing. And it's no longer the case.
No.
And the hallways from 30 years ago are still the same size.
Yes.
Right?
It can
With
get
quadruple the people.
Super busy there on a major travel day. traveling through those corridors, you got at least the fast, what do they call them? Like the escalator kind of thing on one side.
The walkways.
Yep.
Yeah, but you're right, man. You got the rocking chairs against the glass, and
Which
then
I
you
found
got
amazing.
50,000 people in
Correct.
about a 15-foot wide space,
Yep.
trying to go back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
when I flew in to visit James, I was like, this airport's kind of wacky, but and I'm coming from Orlando.
It is.
OIA is really wacky. So.
And shout out to the sushi place in
the center,
Charlotte.
in the rotunda.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Always eat there. My wife refuses to eat anywhere else except the sushi place, so I've had that probably 150 times.
Dude, wow, that is so great. Random. That's where I ate when I left. That's exactly where I ate.
It's every
right next
time.
to the piano.
Yeah, yes, right? It was great. Nobody's ever playing.
No.
Oh, that's not true. I've gone through probably at least 5 times with people, just rando people sit down and start playing that thing. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool. And I guess that's what makes it kind of charming.
Yeah.
And even though there's all that hubbub and people, there's still these little elements that define it as a Charlotte. Mm-hmm. So I was at O'Hare today and I was like, wow, we were complaining about Charlotte and O'Hare was just insane. And thank God for the ability to go to the American Airlines Lounge, the club, to get in there. It is a completely different experience if you're not sitting in all of that mass stuff going on.
Exactly.
It's so intense. At least you can relax before you can come out and stand in line.
Well, and I didn't know this was going to turn into airport podcast, but when
Random,
I
baby.
was,
all good.
When I was, I had a regional position, probably little over 15 years ago. And even then, when you were traveling Tuesday to Thursday for work, the airport was quiet. Mm-hmm. And you had the ability to go sit at your gate, not in the clubs, but just go sit at your gate and do work and not be inundated. That has totally changed over the last 15 years. And everyone, there is no like business travel day anymore. Because
discount flying.
Yes, you're exactly right. It's the Southwest effect, essentially, right? Mm-hmm. Breeze, etc. And every day of the week, you can go and your gate is packed. The airport is packed. And you have those, and you can pick out in your mind who this person is, but it's the person wearing pajamas with their cell phone as loud as it'll go, playing a game or talking, and they're sitting right fucking next to you as you're trying to write, your morning email or whatever,
eating a bucket of chicken.
Yeah, it is
clipping their toenails.
It has become such a hassle to travel at the normal airports. And I don't know an alternative. I'm not probably wealthy enough for an alternative, but my God, is it annoying.
Here's the problem with living in literally one of the largest tourist meccas in the United States. Anywhere I travel, when I'm flying out of Orlando, it's 50-50. Either people are going home or the flight will be half full. It's not that bad. But I know it doesn't matter where I'm leaving, coming back home, it's
awful.
It's awful. I mean, planes just full of families and kids and screaming, and because they all want to come to Orlando. So it's always just horrible coming back.
I just remember getting a whole row to yourself. Now, if you have somebody who's not sitting next to you in the center, it's like first class.
Yes.
I'm first class today, baby.
Absolutely.
I don't have to rub elbows with anybody.
I had this was back when U.S. Airways was around, but I had platinum status with U.S. Airways, and I'll tell you, there was nothing better than boarding first, sitting down in first class, and having a drink served to you. Because it's not the fact that you're getting a drink and the seats are wider, like that's nice. It's the fact that you didn't have to live with the riffraff, the person that's talking on the phone as loud as possible while you're taxiing and like, I can't hear you. I'll call you back. It's that silly shit that made the first class seating nice.
It's 2025. Now it's speakerphone. Everything on speaker.
Yes.
Like you're listening to the entire conversation.
It's so awful. Yeah. It's so awful.
It is.
All right.
Anyway.
That's old man radio.
It is old man radio. So I did have listen, if it's going to happen to someone, it's going to happen to me. I had a very random event happen to me last week. Friday, I got up, drove the 911 to work. I like to take it to work every now and then. And I'm sitting in my office. It's around, I don't know, maybe, noon, 1 o'clock. And I hear someone from my office in the showroom saying, "Hey, can I take some pictures of that 911 out there?" And I, before they even, I just, yeah, that's fine. I just holler. I don't care, whatever. So then I after like a couple minutes, I get up and I just go check it out to see who it is. And this dude is out there in the parking lot. And and I apologize, I don't remember his name. He came and introduced himself. We talked about Porsches for, I don't know, 20 minutes in my office. Super nice guy. And I don't remember his name, but his handle on YouTube is Porsche on a Budget. And so,
nice.
yeah,
Okay.
so he goes out there and he's like doing a YouTube video. He's filming my car and everything in the parking lot. So random, right? Doing like a selfie kind of thing, and talking about the car and everything, And so then he came in and, like I said, we shot the shit about Porsches for like 20 minutes in my office. And super nice guy. He's got a 991.1 or 2, I can't remember, but it was wrecked. And his whole thing is that he went and he bought it, and he's kind of like these other YouTube guys you see, but much smaller scale. And he's fixing it up himself. He's redoing it, putting on new bumpers, doing all this stuff and everything. So that's whole stick is, Porsche on a budget. If you work at it, pretty much anyone can afford a Porsche of some sort. And he does different videos and everything. So he's trying to get his channel up and going and everything. But I just found it random.
I'm having a hard time finding it. Are you able to?
I got it.
Yeah.
What'd you search for?
I just went back into our little.
Your chat.
Oh, the little chat. Yeah. So
I'm just searching for Porsche on a budget, and everybody under the sun has done a video saying Porsche under the budget. Budget. So
It's Porsche on a
okay, let's
budget.
try that.
Yeah, try that. So super nice guy. I apologize, I don't remember his name.
Billy,
but yeah, very
Fist.
cool guy.
Billy Fist.
Billy,
so,
there you go.
What I loved about this is my first introduction to Matt was at Foreign, and his car was listed as 911 in parentheses.
Crazy Rap.
Yeah. And the title of this video on YouTube is called Crazy Graphics.
Yeah.
So
it's hilarious.
Crazy in front of Matt. So not only is he what is it, a minister?
I am a reverend. Absolutely. The Reverend Matt Green.
But you have to say crazy Reverend.
Yeah, crazy Reverend Matt Green. So I'm a man of many hats. But yeah, it was a cool encounter. But completely random. Something I don't expect.
But no, it's not random. It's a completely 100% Matt experience.
Well, this is true.
This shit only happens to Matt. So we'll all be at Amelia, and people will come up to Matt and say, "Hey, don't you have a podcast?" And we'll be sitting next to him, and they won't even know that it's us.
Yeah,
right? It's just Matt.
It's one of those things. I don't know. I guess I have a polarizing, personality, but I have fun. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
I don't think it's polarizing. I think it's just very welcoming. I think that
maybe so. Loud.
You always have a smile. We never smile. You smile. We don't.
Listen, life's too short, man. You will never find me. I promise you will never find me in a bad mood. Life is just too short. I don't get in drama. I just, have a good time. Because you know what? All kidding aside, you don't know you get hit by a fucking bus tomorrow. You just don't know. So
Yeah.
Well, let's drama these nuts and get on to the next topic.
Well, so Thursday, for those listening, a little bit of inside baseball. We rack our brains a week in advance, or at least I do. Always trying to think of what we're going to talk about the following week. So we record tonight. Tonight's a Wednesday. So on the way to work tomorrow, I'll be thinking about, okay, what are we going to talk about next week? And so I was heading to work last Thursday, and I was listening to a podcast, and I knew that SEMA was going on because we were invited to SEMA. I actually had tickets and everything. It didn't fit into my schedule to get out to Vegas, and maybe next year I will.
Very popular.
Well, listen, it doesn't matter. We're media, give or take. We are media. We do get media passes, and I was invited to come out there and check out all the festivities, and just couldn't fit it into my schedule. But I'm going to try to do it next year. But so I knew that was going on. And I was telling James earlier, so I get off and I'm down the street from my work, and I'm sitting on a road called Orange Blossom Trail, and I look up in my rearview mirror, and I see this really, really nice jacked up Jeep coming up behind me. I mean, dude had, big wheels, fender flares, just had it all decked out. And I can appreciate a big truck or jacked up Jeep because I like it. A guy had probably had, 40 grand in stuff on this Jeep, right? Pulls up right next to me at the light. And I look over, guy's big dude, yoked, been in the gym all day. I don't know. Right. He's yoked up. Right. And I look over but probably 60 fucking ducks on the dash.
Oh,
and I'm like, what the fuck? Dude has 40 grand in mods in this damn Jeep. It's a beautiful Jeep. It's all jacked.
$3 ducks.
Right. He's got ducks all over the entire thing. So I couldn't help it. I rolled down my window and I said, dude, Jeep's freaking awesome. He goes, thanks, man. I said, but the ducks are fucking retarded. And then just drove off. Because I'm sorry, dude. I don't get it. Maybe it's not my gig. I don't know. So then I thought, okay, let's combine SEMA. You can go over some of the stuff we saw built at SEMA, but then I started thinking, when is mods too far? What mods do we like?
Never.
What mods do we think is stupid? What trends are going on that we agree with, we disagree with, and we just figured we would just shoot the shit for a half an hour on this kind of stuff and old man talk, which is rant about shit we think is stupid.
Yeah,
and yell at clouds.
Yeah, if we can start just because of your story on the off-road, the mall crawlers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say this because I've almost been run off the road by many of these motherfuckers. The Carolina squat is probably at the height of retardation.
Yeah, I agree.
Or
100%.
autism when it comes to car modifications. That one I understand there's no purpose. But, the Jeep crawlers or just lifted with all the bits, right? Like control arms, unlock sway bars, all the stuff, rock sliders, all the stuff. And all that stuff is ridiculous when you're trying to go 85 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour down the interstate, right? And you can watch them drift back and forth in the wind.
You can
right?
hear them half a mile away.
Oh, it's awful. And that's, to me, listen, I've had a lifted FJ Cruiser. I did take it off-road. It was a blast. I loved it. But it was awful on the interstate. And it prompted me to get, a proper interstate car, which, is when we sold that, I was in a car for a bit, but then we got the Cayenne. But there's a way to do normal off-roading, i.e. a Cayenne or a Touareg, even if you put a mild 3-inch lift on it or something, those things are still proper vehicles. But silly shit like this, I don't even understand what this is or what that does. That looks more like mud slinging to me than anything else, like the big mud pits. But I just don't
mud pull.
I just don't get the people driving a 6-inch lifted Jeep with colored control arms and all that sort of shit with 47 ducks on the dash. Well, as you said, I would say you're fucking retarded.
Well, the duck thing aside, to each his own, but that same shit is happening on Land Rovers and Range Rovers.
They're getting cheap. Yeah.
And on Cayennes and all of that. So it's not like it's just the Jeep crew. Obviously there's going to be that whole lift. Anybody who's got a SUV or anything like that, they're going to lift it. So it just happens to be one of the mods that a whole group of people like. And then, on the Range Rover side, it's just a little bit more expensive than the Jeep side.
Well, and I'm okay with a lifted truck. They're all over Florida. I'm really fine with it.
They're everywhere.
Again, it's one thing to have a lifted truck, but the Carolina squat thing. Okay, I'm going to drive like this, staring at the fucking seal. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
So that I guess that's the point.
Kids. I think it's the under 20 crowd that's doing that, and being in the Carolinas, I rarely see them, or if I do, they're a lot less squatted.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think anybody wants to get in their car and get pulled over just for being in it. So it's been modified. It's been toned down for sure. It hasn't gone away.
Well,
so, every generation of kids, they're looking to do their own thing, right? Be it, JDM on your end, go ahead and say it, Model T mods on mine. right?
I love it. But we can all appreciate mods, all right? Not the one you have now, but actually when you got the 912, you put on the roof rack. I mean,
Yeah, I modded it big
right,
time.
there's mods that you can do that are period to the piece, and it means something. I'm all about lowering a car, putting on coilovers, and doing a tasteful drop versus a stanced car that has their freaking wheels at a 35 camber and they're running on literally on 2 inches of tire on the
I
inside of the
love
tire
that.
down the road.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Uh,
I
do
love
you
it.
do you really?
100%, because it's just such a unique statement for this crowd, and it's there to piss off the mats of the world that are over a certain age. And
So
I totally think it. I used to watch, there was a guy on YouTube that was all into this with his JDMs, and he would flip it out of these cars and he would camber the hell out of them. And I watched it because I was fascinated with, okay, what is the draw for you to do this to your car where you can't go over a railroad track or you can't go over a speed
right.
bump, and you're scraping, you're putting, mods underneath your car so that it can scrape and not damage it. But hey, to each his own.
Well, and I agree with you that I please, but those listening, before you hate us in the comments, this is not us saying, "Hey, you shouldn't do this." I think I applaud anybody that modifies their vehicle. Do not be mundane. Do not be ordinary. Do to it what you want to do to it. Just because
Personalize it, yeah.
but, and I'm not here to yuck on your yum, but I can appreciate the fact that you're doing something in your vehicle and still not fucking understand it. That
And still call it stupid.
Well,
Well,
in
yeah,
my book,
well,
stupid.
Shit is
I
stupid.
I can't give you a pass with those fucking ducks. Can't
No,
do
the ducks are stupid as fuck.
I'm not
And
going to
listen,
do it.
there's guys out there that would look at my rap and say I'm a fucking idiot. Who why would you put
You're
that
crazy.
on a 911? Why would you do that on a 911? It's a sticker. It peels off. All right, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But again,
that's what you're into. So, and there's going to be plenty of people, Matt, that are going to look at you and say you are crazy. That is stupid.
I'll tell you, this is definitive and there's no real argument here, so I don't want to hear it. The dumbest fucking mod you can do to your car is put those cheap ass LED headlights in your car so that when it's in my rearview mirror, my eyes can see them turning on and off. It can see the rate
flicker
at which it's running.
Yep.
And it drives me insane. It hurts my eyes when you're behind me. It hurts my eyes when you're coming at me. And I really want to actually fucking run you off the road and shoot you.
I love the King's AutoZone. The guys that go and they buy the all the like the chrome little vents and everything, and they stick it on their car and everything,
like the LeSabre vents.
Those little wind things on the rear,
like
roof
a
line.
WRX. Yeah.
A chrome hood scoop when they're just stuck on with double-sided tape.
It's all good.
That culture, a lot of that is like Hispanic culture, right?
Yes.
And I forget which podcast I was just listening to. They were actually talking about a similar thing, how that culture very much is into modding everything they own, specifically their vehicle. And they don't care where it comes from, what it is, as long as they can put it on their car and somehow be able to tell that it's different from
and dedicate it to a family member.
Exactly. Well, yeah, no doubt.
With angel wings on.
I'm with you, Casey. I listened to the same podcast, and I don't remember if it was Smoking Tire or Spike, or it was one of those. I don't remember. So going back to SEMA, we showed for those listening a little bit ago while Casey was talking about jacked up trucks. A trend at SEMA this year was lifted vehicles, off-roading, the land crawlers, things of that nature. So we showed some of those earlier. Another big trend at SEMA this year was what they're calling the reverse retro. And what they're doing is they're taking new Broncos and making them look like Broncos from the 70s.
Oh, I dig that.
I can do that for a lot of money.
For a lot of money, yeah. But they're taking these Broncos and they're literally making them, look just like old Broncos, but they're new ones.
For this one specifically, I'm good with this because we know the old Bronco is a piece of shit for the most part. The new ones, I don't know. Like, I know there's been some, oddities in a 27 gear transmission on an off-roader car. But I think that the safety additions from a newer vehicle and whatnot, the driving, just performance overall, probably makes this pretty fucking cool. The retro look I dig. I love the FJ that had a retro look. Porsche, a lot of Porsche people do
Backdate.
Backdates and stuff. So I think this is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like
I don't have a
especially
problem
the
with
two-tone
it.
paint. Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it at all. But I also think your response is also is age based, right? So
Me? Who?
for everybody,
Right.
everybody, I think I think that's cool because when I was a kid, X, Y, and Z, right?
Yeah.
So we're of a certain age where, even though you're the youngest one here, Casey, those were around when you were a kid, and you can relate
you're
to
looking
those.
at 50, 60-year-olds that saw those growing up, fucking loved that the rear
had
thing,
one.
or had
Because
one.
they were
Their dad had,
$2,500.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that you could take that rear hatch off and have the seat with the roll bar.
Right. Well, what's really funny is, if you had one in high school, it cost you $1,500, $2,000, right? And now, 40 years later, you're about to drop $150K on one.
Yep. All right. So this was kind of cool. Iowa State went through talking about the old Bronco that we were just talking about. Iowa State went through and they did a K5 Blazer. And so that's what the K5 looks like that they did. And
That
it's
looks
pretty
like,
badass.
you said Iowa State. It says
Yeah.
Western Iowa.
Oh, I'm sorry, Western
Tech
Iowa
Community
Tech.
College.
Sorry about that. Western Iron Tech. Well, I had Iowa, right? I had Iowa.
They have more than one school in Iowa.
Yeah, no shit, right? So, yeah, that was the one they did there. So they went through and just basically redid a K5 Blazer. So lots of Blazers at SEMA this year, which was kind of cool.
What I was wondering when you brought that up is like, does anybody give a shit about SEMA anymore? It just used to be everyone talked about SEMA because every car show on TV had to do the rush and prep for SEMA every season. And a lot of those shows have just kind of disappeared.
Well, they went to YouTube for a while,
general
right?
public, right?
Mm-hmm.
But would the general public still be interested in SEMA, and is it important to SEMA? And I was wondering the same thing. And so I did a little bit of research, and the answer is yes. It just happens to be shifting in focus a little bit as, the younger folks wane on their enthusiasm for these vehicles, and the EV crowd keeps growing. That SEMA has to grow and change as well. But as far as SEMA reports that U.S. consumers spent $52.65 billion in 2024 on vehicle accessories and modifications. That's not a small number.
No, that's a lot. Yeah.
Not a small number. So SEMA changing a little bit as far as showcasing trends, innovation, and the ability to network and make contacts and such. So the one thing that I noticed, Matt, you had shared a YouTube video of some of these reveals. I just remember 10, 15 years ago, whatever, that when there was a reveal at SEMA for these builds, there were hundreds of people around. And on these video that you share, on the video you shared, you go through it and there's 30, 50, maybe 100 people. There's one that was a little bit larger, but it seems so much smaller than when these shows were 24 hours a day.
Yeah, I just started watching heavily maybe 10 years ago, YouTube or so. But you had the likes of like Tavares, right? When he did his twin turbo, the twin turbo Huracan that had caught on fire previously, right? He took that to SEMA. Then last year was the McLaren, which a phenomenal work, phenomenal looking car. The problem with some of these things is that with the internet and the sleuths that live on it, some of the work is not quite what it seems, right? And I think when we look at these cars and you're like, holy shit, that's a beautiful whatever, You've watched the videos and how much work went into it, but the camera can lie. They can manipulate and edit. And then when these pictures come up with, you know, shoddy work or incomplete work or whatever, I think that takes some of the limelight off of those sort of builds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I agree with you. I wanted to share this. This is something that's near and dear to my heart, and I'm happy to see them coming back. Basically, street trucks are coming back, and you know, I can appreciate a jacked up truck, but I love a lower truck. So there was a lot of street trucks at SEMA this year. This photo here has an Oompa Loompa in the background, so I'm not sure, you know, what's going on with that. Yeah. So you know, I mean, this is a lower truck, and this dude's even not even coming up to the tailgate. So,
you know, what
I think that's called perspective.
Maybe
what
I don't
years,
know. I like calling it Oompa Loompa.
What years was the street truck kind of a thing? I remember it, I think, from the mid to late 90s.
Yeah, I mean, they were really coming to play, you know,
with
like
the
lower
sideways,
trucks, like,
you know, license plate on the tailgate and all the handles shaved and whatnot.
Yeah, late 80s into the mid to late 90s.
Well,
yeah.
Wouldn't it be a natural transition if we are so focused on big truck culture right now,
Mm-hmm.
right?
True.
So not only were there trucks everywhere at SEMA, but if everything's been jacked up and lifted, at some point
somebody's
it's going to go completely the opposite way.
Correct.
Yeah, and then everyone's going to be drawn to that and start slamming their trucks, so that they can get back in them at the supermarket again.
Yeah,
that's right.
I agree. And you know, the OG, you know, what was it, the Hurricane, which was with the Blazer type deal, which you know, the Ford Lightning,
the Typhoon.
Yeah, Typhoon. There you go. The Ford Lightning was the first one that I would, you know, major truck that was like lowered and fucking badass. Of course, that was in Fast and Furious. It got very popular from that as well. But that the original was a really cool truck, good looking truck. And hearing that thing, I remember when I was autocrossing, this would be in the mid 2000, like 2005, 6, 7, somewhere in there. Guy was autocrossing the Lightning, and hearing that thing just roast tires coming out of corners is something I'll never forget. It was really fun to watch.
Well, you know, Ford's getting in the game. The Maverick that they have, because again, you can go through and lower full size trucks, but if you're really rolling it back retro, it's more of a mini truck kind of thing. So they're taking the Maverick,
mid-size.
They have the new Lobo coming out, which is basically a factory lowered version of the Maverick. So, yeah, I'm all for it, man. I love that look. I mean, is it practical from like a hauling perspective of the truck?
No, you don't do that though. Like, just like most truck owners don't use it as a truck. There's actually, I've seen a crazy number of articles about that recently. How people who own trucks don't use them as trucks. But the same is going to be true.
Empty beds. That's what I call them. Just empty beds.
The same is going to be true for someone who owns one of these smaller trucks. They're not using it as a truck. They're using it for the look, the convenience of probably occasionally putting groceries in the back. But it's the fun factor. And I do think that, as Kevin has stated, the Maverick is proving to be a fun platform for younger people. And you can get 450 horsepower out of that thing. And I can understand that'd be a fun, cheap little toy, relatively cheap toy.
Yeah. Well, if you want to keep people interested, right, and buying, you have to make a product people want to buy, and if you want to get a younger crowd, it has to be somewhat affordable and the ability to personalize.
And we know that's where these trends.
We've been talking about that the whole time,
and that's where these trends start, right? From the younger kids that have all these weird ideas, or they're coming up with some riff on what their dad did when they were a little kid, and to get in that game, it has to be affordable, and which has been a problem, right? Which is
it's no different if your dad had a Beetle and you got into a Beetle, right? No different than if it had a mid-sized truck back in the 80s, and then all of a sudden you want one now and you want to get it on the cheap and you want to be able to work on it. We just went over these retro cars, right? I guess that's the ultimate end game, but you want to have these young people engage in this. And we all know that the cars that we would have and work on that were affordable shit boxes, they don't exist any longer.
It's true.
And
It's true.
this is kind of weird. I've never thought of this before, but literally, most of my cars have been a version of what my dad had at some point.
Right.
When I was in high school, my parents got a Mercedes. When I started in this job, I got a Cadillac CTS, right? So I had a Miata. My dad had a Miata. I had a Punch Bug. My dad had a Punch Bug. My dad had a 911. I now have a 911. The FJ Cruiser, I'm thinking it's akin to the early 90s Jeep Wagoneer, which my father had. So it's kind of weird to have, I said that, you're doing a riff off what your dad did. I think I'm falling right into that. Having never really thought about that, I'm doing the exact same damn thing.
I'm doing the exact opposite.
Well, yeah, my dad was an American Muscle, which when I was younger, my first car was an 80 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. So, I mean, but I grew out of that. We talked about young
the Cutlass
kids
with the couch in it.
I did. There was the back seat. So funny story. I'll tell you this. So back seat was literally a couch. Me and a buddy went on a double date one time. His name was Buster Canfield. Never forget it. And Buster goes, "Hey man, can I borrow the back seat of your car?" I said, "Yeah, man. Do what you got to do, right?" Well, so my car, again, it was a piece of shit. It was a 1980 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, right? Had a radiator leak, so I always carried a gallon jug of water that I kept in the floorboard because the thing would overheat.
Strapped in,
overheat. So Buster and his girl goes to my car or whatever, me and the other girls out in the parking lot or whatever. All of a sudden I hear Buster going, "Oh my God. Oh my God." I'm like, "Well, man, he's really getting at it." And then he goes, then he goes, "What? Well, bail the water." So we go over there. They knocked over the jug. An entire gallon of water is going glug, 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 glug into the floorboard. They're trying to bail water out of the back of the car. So yeah.
That's a very Matt story.
It's a very Matt story. And
it's 100% Matt story.
There you go. All true. Listen, kids like to modify stuff, but then they grow up, they have their own kids. So you got to respect this right here. Bisimoto took a Honda Odyssey, and it's the Honda Odyssey Type R. They took a Type R.
I love it.
Awesome.
Engine, transmission, everything out of a Type R and put it right into the freaking Odyssey.
So here's the funny thing. I worked with a guy down in Roanoke, and he is a mountain biker, but he has a family, and so he wasn't allowed to buy like a Jeep or whatever. He had to have the family hauler. He has an Odyssey that he lifted. They have lift kits for this. It's got a 3-inch lift with some airbags in the back, so when they have all their gear and bikes hanging off the back, like it doesn't sag. But he fucking loves it, and it doesn't look quite as cool. It doesn't have a good engine in it, but I've seen it, and it looks fucking cool.
Listen,
well, speaking of SEMA, right? One of the trends is changing out your wheels, and look at what the wheels do on a fucking Odyssey.
That's right. Yeah.
Makes it look cool as hell. Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
The Civic Type R has the weird 3 exhaust pipes. They even put that on this van. I mean, they literally took the entire drivetrain and put it on this van. So it's freaking awesome. So I love. Although I've never owned a minivan, we've always been SUV people. I can definitely appreciate a minivan.
100%.
And it's freaking awesome. Something that's near and dear, at least to my heart, and I think you guys like it as well. They went through, and this company here took a Volkswagen thing and made it, to the point that I didn't even recognize it as a Volkswagen thing. They did a lot of work on this thing, literally.
It's very cool.
And it's freaking badass. Talk about a beach buggy.
Well, I also like just the twist where so much of SEMA was dominated by big trucks and such. This is just taking it to a kind of a different level, but it's not a car per se, right? Right. So it's still in that same vein, but it's super cool.
Yep. Yeah, I'd like to see it with the hood closed up. But I think the amount of it looks, I would drive that tomorrow. It looks like a blast.
couldn't find any photos, nor in the article could I figure out what drivetrain they're using. He's got an emblem here on the side. This is Porsche, and this looks like a numeric shifter in here.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they're using like an air cool 911 engine or a water cool.
Well, yeah, there's no radiator up front, so you'd assume that it's an air cooled, right?
An air cool, yeah. The article, I couldn't figure out what they were executing.
And that'd be fitting with the vibe of a thing.
There's something about the shape. It just reminds me of my sister's Barbie Jeep from back in the day.
I can see that. Yeah, absolutely.
With those big, thick doors, you think about plastic size.
Yeah. Well, so
I don't think that's what they were going for, but that's it for me.
Those are the things that I found somewhat interesting from SEMA. Like I said, I really would like to go there one year, maybe next year.
We should.
And actually attend it.
You already said you're going next year.
Yeah, I just got to work on that schedule. But yeah, it would be fun. It would be fun. Is there any other modding trends that you guys like or dislike? Or
I've seen underglow start to come back a little bit.
I have as well.
I was a huge fan. I never had it on my car, but I was a huge fan of it. High school into college. I have legit thought about putting it on the 911. Something.
Do not do that.
I'm not gonna lie. I've thought about it.
I've thought about it, and
look at James.
My car is all white, right? And I could do white lights under it.
Go for it. Blue LEDs change with your mood.
Nope, I don't want that. Yeah. I'd keep it classy. But I have thought about it, and I don't hate it. I don't hate it. That's all I'll say.
No, and all kidding aside, it's so easy now because the LEDs are so small. I mean, I did have it on 2 different vehicles that I owned. Big surprise, right? So I had a 1992 Ford Ranger slammed, and I had literally it was the neon tubes, the big tubes.
That's
put under
actually
the thing.
a good point, Matt.
Underneath.
I hate when the lights are shining and you can see the LEDs. Like I don't want to see the individual LED hot spots on the ground or on the bottom of the car. It's got to be diffused. It's got to be a true glow, the underglow. Neon tube, I'm sure it's all LEDs now, but it's got to be diffused.
Yeah. Yep.
Get on it now for the Christmas season because everybody is now lighting up their vehicles during
true. All the Jeeps,
there you go, yeah.
all the mall crawlers.
Yes. Yeah.
Neon underglow is definitely making a resurgence. And I don't hate it. I'm all for it. It's lights, whatever. It's not a big deal. If people get upset about that,
it
so
might
what?
show up with
it's
it. Might show up with it.
Yep.
I don't even have a car, so.
You have it. It's just not in your possession at the moment. One day you'll get to drive it again. You're like Matt Farah with his Lamborghini Countach. Hasn't having it all rebuilt. So, all right. Last thing, real quick, because we do have like just a couple more minutes. And James threw this up, and we'll leave on this. Scout Motors is actually bringing some money back to James's neck of the woods. They're actually picked North Carolina to Charlotte area.
Yeah, Charlotte.
Put their new processing plant for or plant to build the cars.
Yeah, no. So they're going to be building their headquarters here in Charlotte. But the actual assembly is in South Carolina. So full on Carolinas company, right? North and South. They announced a commitment for 1,200 jobs.
Good.
That's great.
With an investment of $207 million. But here's the kicker, is the average annual salary for these jobs is expected to be approximately $172,878.
Wow.
So they're not assembling the
What
vehicles.
do they need done? Sign me up.
Yeah, I'm moving to North Carolina.
So they, in Charlotte, will be their R&D, their IT, their finance, sales, marketing, and other corporate operations. So I'm assuming that 172, if your CEO is sitting there and all your senior VPs and such, that's where that bump gets pushed up.
Yeah,
But even
right?
true.
if
So,
it's a
you know,
120 or 100,000, you
yeah,
know, that's a
100%.
great pay in Charlotte, in the South.
Yeah.
You can live 20 minutes outside the city and get there. Or where do you're Cornelius or wherever you are done.
No, I'm in South Carolina,
That's
right
right.
over the
That's right.
line. So I'm about 16 miles from my office, and that's about 45 minutes. It's
Yeah.
terrible at this point. Here's the thing: is that 172 will get you a decent living here in Charlotte, because over the last 10 or 15 years, the cost of living here has made it a little bit more on par with a lot of the
Big
other
cities.
cities that
Yeah.
we have across the country, where it was quite affordable, especially when you were comparing it to, say, Atlanta.
Hmm.
It was kind of a baby Atlanta,
Hmm.
and now we're kind
Catching
of
up. Yeah.
stepbrother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Catching
Hmm.
up quickly. But you know, those are the types of jobs that you want to see come here,
Those are
right? You know,
highly
there's a lot of
educated.
manufacturing and
Yep.
such.
Highly
Yeah,
educated, good paying jobs.
right.
That's good.
But that's the thing, is Charlotte doesn't need just bankers, right? It needs a whole bunch of other jobs here. So
I like these vehicles a lot, but
they're cool.
they're EVs,
Yeah,
right?
they're 100% EV. I think
Yeah.
they're going to struggle, especially with the government $7,500 incentive gone away. I think that obviously pushes their price point up to a different bracket.
Well, let me just add to that, Casey, has that shifted from the consumer side to the government tax break side,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So they are getting $46.5 million of reimbursement over the next 12
Okay.
years. So
46.
Well, and they got
from
that.
North Carolina.
Yeah, they also got a North Carolina Commerce
So you,
approved 62.3 million job development
yeah,
grant.
you're looking at $3 million a year, roughly. Quick brain math there, but I don't know. I don't like, to be completely honest. I've said this a million times, but
It's not fair.
I'm very anti-government and across the board, and I don't like these incentives to be given to one company versus not to another, or to one group of people
Right.
versus another. Having said that, I do like new businesses coming in. I don't like the government has to supplement or kind of help them out, but
So here's something that is
Well,
new.
that's just competition, right?
it should be. It should be.
So
Yes.
this is new. I remember when they first announced this vehicle, it was 100% EV
Mhm.
across the board. It still is, but here it's saying their electric vehicle at the heart will be a 350-mile all-electric range, but an optional harvester gas-powered range extender will promise up to 500 miles. So
All right. So
that
there.
gas extender
Yeah,
was not originally
I
there.
agree, Matt. I don't. That's a good find, because I do think that that's a
Yeah.
niche market that no one else is quite tapped into yet. We've seen
Yeah.
or heard of like trucks putting that out there, but I haven't seen anything that something's hitting the market yet. So if they come out with this basically a generator in the engine bay to supplement, I think that's a great idea.
Yep.
And again, getting 500 miles puts that in the ball game for something I can
Mhm.
drive, or something
Yep.
that people who put real miles on their car, that now makes it an alternative that otherwise would not be.
Well, peace of
Correct.
mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, because even if it's only like a 10-gallon tank, or not even like a 5-gallon tank, okay,
Right.
great. If you're nowhere near a charger, you can keep stopping and putting gas in it and keep going until you get somewhere where there is a
I
charger.
routinely drive 206 miles to an account, right? So
Mhm.
it's 412 there and back with no traffic stops, no P breaks, whatever. So I need at least 406 miles. So mentally, that at higher speeds, the range drops, right? So you got to have that extra 500, 100 miles. Perhaps that's enough to get there and back. That's getting in the ball game of being a
Mhm.
viable car, in my opinion. But for most people who drive 30 miles a day, 30
Yeah.
miles there, 30 miles back. We just target.
My wife is 10 miles.
I mean, that's awesome. We were
Yeah.
just talking. We had to run to the grocery. I asked my wife when I needed to do an oil change on the Cayenne. It's been a year, and she's put just at 10,000 miles on it. And so for people like that, electric makes sense, right? It makes sense.
Agreed.
Yep. So, all right. Well, as Jeremy Clarkson would say on that bombshell, we're going to call it evening. Dude, it was great, man. I enjoyed it. We're probably going to record next week. Then the week after, we will probably take the week off. Oh, there's not probably. We will be taking the week off. It's the week of Thanksgiving. But for those listening, thank you very much. Head over to the YouTube, like and subscribe. Head over to the Instagram. Hit us a message if you need anything. Always send us an email at contact@whiskeywatchingwheels.com. And we will catch you guys next week. See you on the flip flop.
Later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.